much does the game planning change, if at all, with the quarterback change now between Garbers and Monster?
Yeah, the plan hasn't changed. We gotta prepare for an offense that has a lot of moving parts to it, has some pieces to it that we've got to make sure that we know, where certain guys are at certain times, and obviously some running backs that are really big and physical. That's the one thing that you turn on the film, and regardless of who they're playing, the running backs have been very, very physical. They're breaking tackles. They're getting a lot of yards after contact.
Obviously, the big story was with Garber's improvement as a quarterback, but
Right.
how much has the rest of their offense changed from where they were last year?
Right, and so doing the preseason study and then where we're at now, I mean, the one thing that we continue to say is that their running back core is really good. They'll be the best that we've seen thus far. They're physical, they're fast. The offensive line does a good job, of moving the line of scrimmage. And obviously, with the situation, the injury at quarterback, Monster's going to be ready to roll. Bo Baldwin's a great coach, and they'll be ready to roll. And we gotta have our best week of practice, make sure we're ready.
Andy, what's the key for, while you're certainly affecting the quarterback a lot between sacks, tackles for loss, and hurries, etc., but what's the key to maximizing individuals where, whether it be Gus or KT or Lamar, they're within a step at Stanford a lot, but the difference between that and where you need to be of getting home and then some, and then it's strip sacks, and then it's that many more takeaways. What's the key to enhancing that individually?
Well, I think everything is always about the finish. We're always trying to finish every single rep, and trying to do a better job, and making an emphasis of that in the bye week was a huge part of how we're finishing on our pass rush, how we're finishing coming off, getting out and escaping off blocks, and finishing with our trail arms. And that's going to allow us to be more productive, whether it's in the run game or the pass game. So that's been a huge emphasis for us as a whole on the defense, on the perimeter. The secondary got to take on blocks on the perimeter screens and things like that, and just making sure that we're all doing the best we can to overemphasize that in practice so we get just a little bit of that when we need it.
How big is the difference there where people talk about like wasted steps, wasted movements and stuff, especially on the edges?
Right.
How much does literally the difference of inches saved by way of getting home versus not?
Yeah, you said it. I mean, every step counts, right? Every step counts. So we're always on our footwork. We drill footwork. We show it on film. We coach it. We show clips of NFL guys in footwork, and every step counts. Every second counts. It's huge.
Andy Thomas was just saying he doesn't care if you guys win 52-42 or 7-6, but I imagine you take a lot of pride in this streak you guys have of keeping guys out of the end zone.
I take a lot of pride in being prepared every single day with some urgency and working to meet our standard every single day. And you know what? I don't know, what the scoreboard is going to say when it does that, but I know what the product, what that looks like on the field every single day, whether it be practice or whether it be a game, and that's what we're trying to instill in our guys. Obviously, that's a work in progress. It's hard for anybody and everybody to do that every day in whatever profession you're in. So that's what we're trying to build.
Everybody's chasing perfection, obviously, going through details and all that, but when your defense has been as good as it was in the first 4 weeks, what did you work on during the bye week, or is that just more about giving guys a couple days away from football?
No, there were certain things at each position, specifically, that we needed to get better at, and ironically for us, one of them was our finish, and how are we going to continue to maximize the situations we're in? How are we going to tackle better? And number one, how are we going to get ourselves in position to tackle better? How are we going to execute those fundamentals of tackling better? Our operation is always key. There's still things within our operation that we need to continue to perfect, as we were talking about. And let's be honest, I mean, it's really, really easy to fall off in certain areas. So every week is a new week. Every week has a new life of its own. So whether it's a bye week, a game week, whatever, that week has a life of its own. And we generate and we build that life every single week. And we're working to build the best one we can every week.
Is bye week beneficial, or does it kind of hurt when you guys are rolling the way you are? I mean, is like you can keep momentum week to week, Does a bye week kind of change that rhythm at all?
Well, I mean, you're not playing a game, so it gets you off a little bit of that game schedule rhythm. But in terms of keeping your edge, I think is what you're talking about. The whole one of the main focuses for the whole team was to keep our edge sharp, and the way we worked in the process and how we handled that process, So that was one of our goals.
Seems like each game you start rotating more and more guys along the defensive line. Are you feeling more and more confident with that group, and what are the impacts of being able to shuffle so many guys in?
Yeah, no question. I mean, we're trying to develop bodies at all levels of our defense, and you got to create depth. This is a long season. It's a physical game. We're trying to play a physical brand of football, so we've got to develop as much depth as we can as guys continue to improve and get better, and not only with their fundamentals and their technique, but just how they their urgency and how they prepare each and every week. You got to trust. You know, we're trying to build dependable depth, right? Not just depth. You can't just send guys on the field. They got to be dependable as well.
What do you look at when you try to find stuff on Devon Modster for film? I mean, obviously he's got maybe a quarter and a half of tape this season, but do you go back to UCLA to see tape of him? How does that work?
Right. You know, and you got to find what guys do well and things like that, and there's no question. But the focus is still, you know, as always, the focus has to be on our operation. There are things that we definitely, on our end of things, that we've got to be ready for in the pre-snap and handling different situations, different formations, different things like that. So really, for us, that's where our focus is. Our focus is on getting in a great stance, playing with great eye control, and this game's about winning one-on-ones, you know what I'm saying? So those are the things that we're focused on.
I mean, I realize that every 11th is very important, every player is in position, etc. But because of Javon and both his physical abilities that are there and the versatility of field versus nickel and etc., is he the most critical piece that allows you to do what you want to do? Because of the role that he plays and the level of ability that he has, is he the most critical piece of this whole operation?
He's a big part of it, you know, in his mental capacity, his football knowledge is very, very high, and it allows him to execute and do that. And the guys that are behind him too are coming along, and they're learning a lot very quickly. But yes, that's a critical part of the defense, and being able to do and be in multiple defenses. The guys on the edges in particular, especially his position, they've got to be great physically and mentally, and to be able to handle it all. And you know, we're talking about, you know, he's played really, really well, but you know, he'll tell you still, I mean, there's a work in progress. There's things that he's working to get better at every week, but we're excited about the direction he's going, most definitely.
Say preparation doesn't change, but what maybe does Monster do differently than Garbers?
You know, from what we have seen, the targets are the targets. I mean, there's wide receivers that you know, they have targeted and got the ball to in certain situations and things like that. You know, you've got to believe that they're going to continue to try to get their best ball players the ball in their hands. I mean, that's football, and try to win one-on-ones with the guys that they have been. And obviously, Monster's going to get all the reps now with the ones, and you know, that's what, you know, you got to prepare for. So obviously he's going to have more reps than you would as a two quarterback. So we're fully prepared for him to handle that offense. You know, now obviously as a starter, and we've got to be on point.
I realize that you can't speak to the pass in this league because this is your first year, but the running backs as a whole are down. A lot of the top backs are down. You've had a role in that, certainly. You just played and you're about to play a team that is very intent on running the football. Are there things that either you yourself are doing or that you've seen on tape while watching these various teams that you're seeing that offenses are just not being able to execute as well against whatever it is that you're doing and other guys are doing out there in this league, running back wise, that you're stopping the run a lot better as a league, it seems like, this year against those top backs? Is there something you're noticing?
Well, I mean, we've been in it for one game, you know, one conference game. So, and we've had really good games where we've done well against the run. And I will say this, we have continually progressed throughout the course of the season against the run game. And it's something that we're not where we need to be yet in the run game, by no means. We're not there. And we've made that very clear to our guys. And it comes down to, you know, the basic fundamentals. So for me to be able to speak on others or what we've done, I mean, we've seen one conference opponent, and we're excited about the way our guys handled that challenge. But there's things within there also that we need to build on. There's things we got to tackle better. We didn't start off last game tackling very well. You know, that tailback, you know, from Stanford broke some tackles there, and then that's, you know, we've got to improve on that.